The night they all woke up, the street was quiet enough to hear the sprinklers ticking at 3:17 a.m. when Emily Hale jolted upright in bed, her breath scraping against her throat like broken glass. She didn't understand why she was awake, only that the dream had been real. Too real. She grabbed the edge of the mattress, trying to stop the shaking in her hands, but they kept trembling on their own. She could still hear it. That voice, whispering her name from behind the door that wasn't supposed to be in her house. She pressed her palms against her face. It was just a nightmare. People woke up sweating all the time. But then she noticed something worse. Her phone kept buzzing. 3 missed calls from her neighbor, Marcus. A text from the widow across the street, Mrs. Langford. 2 from the teenage boy next door, Tyler. All of them time-stamped 3:17 a.m. All of them saying the same thing. Did you dream it too? Emily's stomach dropped. Before she could answer, a loud knock rattled her front door. She flinched so hard her elbow slammed into the nightstand. The knock came again, fast, panicked. Emily, open up. It was Marcus. She hesitated, looking through the peephole. Marcus, a 35-year-old paramedic built like someone who could bench press a refrigerator, was drenched in sweat and shaking like he'd come off a battlefield. She unlocked the door. Marcus pushed inside without waiting. Tell me you saw it, he said. His eyes were wild. I'm not losing my mind alone. Emily swallowed hard. There was a door, in a white room, and someone behind it. She forced the words out. It called my name. Marcus exhaled shakily. Same here. Then he whispered. But it wasn't just calling me. It was trying to get out. Before Emily could respond, another knock, softer, trembling, came from behind them. They turned. It was Mrs. Langford, the 70-year-old retired teacher with the calmest presence on the street. Except tonight she wasn't calm. She looked as if someone had drained the color out of her entirely. She clutched her housecoat with both hands. It knocked on my door, she said. In the dream, 3 times. Then it whispered through the crack. I found you. Marcus rubbed his face. Okay, we need to figure out what's happening. 3 people having the exact same dream at the same time? That's not nothing. Emily's phone vibrated again. A new message from Tyler. I'm in my driveway. Please come. Something's wrong with my mom. Emily's pulse spiked. Marcus, we need to go. They stepped outside. Cool night air, motionless. No wind. No distant cars. Only the streetlights buzzing faintly, flickering like something was draining their power. Tyler stood barefoot on the concrete, staring at his house in horror. When they reached him, he didn't look at Emily or Marcus. He just pointed at the front door. My mom won't wake up, he whispered. She's talking, but she won't wake up. Emily felt her chest tighten. From inside the house, through the slightly open door, came a soft voice. A woman, whispering, repeating the same sentence over and over. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. Marcus stepped forward. Tyler, did she have the dream too? She screamed at 3:17, he said. Then she went still and started whispering. Emily approached the door and froze, because the whispering suddenly changed. The woman's tone shifted lower, deeper, as if something was speaking through her, and it said, I know all of you are listening. Marcus grabbed Emily's arm. Emily, step back. But the voice kept going, taking on a cold clarity that didn't sound human at all. You saw the room. You saw the door. You heard the knocking. Silence. The entire neighborhood seemed to hold its breath. Then the whisper rose into a rasping hiss. And now it knows you. The porch light above them flickered violently, went out, then snapped back on with a loud electrical pop. Emily's heart punched her ribs. Marcus cursed. Tyler screamed. Mrs. Langford collapsed to her knees, covering her ears. Then, somewhere down the street, another porch light exploded. Then another, and another, until the entire block erupted with popping bulbs and showering glass. The night went dark, pitch black, street lamps dead. Only the low hum of something mechanical or alive, vibrating somewhere beneath their feet. In the dark, something knocked. Once, twice, 3 times. But not on any door in their world. The sound came from inside their heads, shaking their bones. Emily gasped, gripping Marcus's arm. Marcus! We're not dreaming anymore. The knocking grew louder. Something was coming through. And every person on the street, every neighbor, every house, woke up screaming at the exact same second. 3:17 a.m. Again. When the entire neighborhood screamed again at 3:17 a.m., the sound didn't rise like a wave. It detonated. Every house on the block spilled light from bedrooms, hallways, and porches as people threw open doors and stumbled outside, shouting for help, calling names, crying in confusion. But no one saw each other, because the street was coated in a dense gray fog that hadn't existed a second earlier. Emily covered her mouth as she stepped into it. The fog wasn't cold. It was warm, almost humid, like someone exhaling against her face non-stop. Marcus held her forearm, gripping too tightly. "I swear to God, this wasn't here," he said. "It just appeared." From a few feet away, Tyler's voice trembled. "My mom's still whispering. She won't stop. It's the same words again and again." Emily listened. The fog carried sound strangely, like it warped whatever traveled through it. Somewhere inside the haze, she could hear dozens of whispers overlapping, merging, separating, and merging again. A whole neighborhood whispering in unison. Marcus pulled out his phone. No signal, of course. A metallic creak echoed behind them. Mrs. Langford stood beside her house, staring up at her second-floor window. Emily followed her gaze and saw the outline of a tall figure behind the closed curtain. Too tall, too still, and definitely not human, Mrs. Langford whispered. "It was behind the door in my dream." Marcus muttered, "Okay, no, we're not doing this. Everyone back to the street. Now." But they weren't alone on the street anymore. People were stumbling out of fog in every direction. Neighbors known for their composure now trembling uncontrollably, some crying, some clutching their heads. One man, Mr. Donahue, fell to his knees, gagging. "It tried to talk to me," he gasped. "In the dream. It got close. Too close. I could feel its breath." He retched harder. "It said my wife's name. My wife's been dead for 6 years. It knew her name." Emily shivered, because she understood exactly what he meant. Her dream had felt the same. Marcus tried to take control. "Everyone listen up. We need to." He stopped. Everyone did, because a sound began rising from inside the fog. Not a whisper this time. A distant pounding, hollow and rhythmic, like someone striking a massive door made of old wood. Thud, thud, thud. The sound didn't echo through the street. It echoed through bodies. Emily felt it in her ribs. Tyler clutched his ears. Even the ground seemed to vibrate with each blow. Then the pounding stopped. A single voice, genderless, low, impossibly close, slid through the fog. "Don't run." Dozens of people screamed. Mrs. Langford collapsed again. Marcus dragged her up by the arms, pulling her toward the center of the cul-de-sac. "Everyone stay together. Stay where you can see each other." But the fog thickened, blurring the shapes of houses, trees, people. Voices turned into silhouettes. Silhouettes into shadows. Shadows into nothing. Emily felt a wave of dizziness hit her, like she was falling asleep while standing. No, not asleep. Dragged. A strange pressure filled her skull, like someone was pressing a thumb into the back of her mind, pushing down, testing her. She snapped her eyes open wide. "Marcus!" Her voice cracked. "Something is trying to pull me back into the dream." Marcus grabbed her head between his hands. "Emily, look at me. Stay awake." But his face began to blur, as if a veil slid between them. Then she saw something over his shoulder. A door, freestanding, in the middle of the street. Tall, old, wooden, painted white. The same door from the dream, appearing through the fog as if the mist itself had shaped it. Tyler saw it too. "No, no, 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 this isn't real." The door vibrated. Then the knocking started again. Slow, deliberate, Waiting. Thud, thud, thud. Every person froze. The whispering voices that had filled the fog suddenly went silent, as if giving space to the knocking. The entire street held its breath. Emily tried to step back, but her feet wouldn't move. Her legs locked. Her chest tightened. Her vision tunneled. The pressure in her skull returned, harder, deeper. It wanted her. Marcus shook her shoulders. Emily, don't listen to it. But she wasn't hearing the knocking anymore. She was hearing a voice, the same one from the dream, but now right behind her ear. I've been waiting for you. She spun around. Nothing. Just fog. The voice continued. You opened the door in your sleep. Just a crack. Enough for me to see you. Her throat went dry. I didn't open anything. A soft laugh drifted around her. You did. And now the others can open it too. Marcus yelled, Emily, step back. The door, look. The white door was changing. The surface began to bulge, like something was pushing outward from the other side, distorting the wood. Each push made a sickening creak. Then a human hand pressed through, pale, thin, fingers bending at impossible angles, as if it were learning how to be a hand. People screamed. Someone fell. Someone ran. Someone fainted. Emily couldn't move. The pale fingers curled around the edge of the door. The voice whispered again. Once one of you lets me through, I'll know the way to all of you. The door cracked open, only half an inch, but it was enough. A blackness seeped out, thick, living, reaching. Marcus reacted first. He lunged, grabbed Emily's arm, and yanked her backward just as the shadow brushed the pavement where her foot had been. The fog recoiled violently, as if something had been interrupted. The voice hissed in her head, furious. You shouldn't have run. A violent tremor shook the ground. Street lamps sparked. Car alarms blared. Windows shattered up and down the block. The white door slammed shut with a deafening crack, and vanished. The fog blew apart like it had been sucked backward into the sky. And suddenly, silence. The whole neighborhood stood in the street, dazed. Mrs. Langford sobbed into her hands. Mr. Donahue collapsed. Tyler screamed his mother's name and ran toward his house. Marcus held Emily upright as her knees gave out. Then all their phones vibrated at the same time. Every single one. Emily looked down. A new message. No sender. Only 3 words. Tomorrow. 3:17 a.m. The sun rose over the cul-de-sac, but nobody trusted it. People wandered the street like survivors of a disaster, silent, pale, and refusing to go back into their homes. Kids clung to parents. Grown men stared at the pavement, twitching whenever a shadow moved. Cars stayed parked. Nobody went to work. Nobody dared leave the neighborhood. The world outside might have been normal, but inside these streets, time felt wrong. Emily sat on the curb beside Marcus, hugging her knees and watching Mrs. Langford pace in tiny circles. Tyler sat on his front steps with his arms wrapped around his legs, rocking back and forth. His mother still hadn't woken. Not really. She whispered the same sentence on an endless loop from her bed upstairs. Don't open the door. Over and over. Hours passed. She never stopped. Emily rubbed her temples. It's trying to wear us down. Marcus kept scanning the neighborhood with paranoid eyes. It wants someone to break. It needs one of us to open the door all the way. He looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, hands shaking. Not from fear, from lack of sleep. No one had slept since the fog vanished. Every time someone drifted off for even a second, they jerked awake gasping, because behind their eyelids, the door from the dream was waiting. No dream, just the door. Waiting, knocking, patient. At noon, a shrill scream sliced through the air from the far end of the block. Marcus jumped to his feet. Stay here. Emily ignored him and ran beside him anyway. They reached the Hamiltons' house just as neighbors gathered at the lawn's edge, too afraid to go closer. Mrs. Hamilton, a woman in her 50s, stood on her porch trembling violently, one hand on her throat. We saw it, she stammered. We all saw it in the window. Emily followed her gaze. Her stomach turned. Upstairs, through the square window of the home office, a figure stood staring down at them. Tall, still, face hidden in shadow. The figure didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe. Marcus swore under his breath. "Nobody goes inside," Mr. Hamilton shouted from behind them. "But our daughter is in there." He pushed past the others, sprinting up the porch steps. Marcus tried to grab him, but the man was too fast. He shoved open the front door and disappeared inside. A moment later, the screaming began. Not the daughter, the father. High-pitched, animal-like, primal terror. Something thrashed inside the house. A heavy thud rattled the walls. A table crashed. Glass shattered. Then, silence. Marcus looked at Emily. "Call out. See if he answers." Emily swallowed. "Mr. Hamilton?" Her voice cracked. "Are you okay?" "Nothing. Just the sound of something dripping." A thin line of dark liquid began running down the inside of the window where the figure had stood. Mrs. Hamilton fainted. 2 neighbors dragged her away. Marcus clenched his teeth. "I'm going in." Emily grabbed his arm. "Are you insane? It wants us inside that house." "It already took him," Marcus said. "And if the daughter is still alive." A soft voice floated out from the open doorway. "Help me." Emily stiffened. The voice sounded familiar. A girl. Maybe a teenager. "Please, someone. I'm upstairs." Tyler whispered from behind them. "Don't. It's lying. It knows we'll run in." Marcus tried to steady his breathing. "I'll take the risk." Emily stepped in front of him. "Then I'm coming with you." Marcus stared at her. "Emily, I'm not letting it isolate you." They walked toward the doorway together. The house felt colder than outside, air thick as if something watched from every corner. Emily whispered, "Mr. Hamilton?" Only creaking floorboards answered. They moved deeper inside. The staircase stood ahead, dark and narrow. A faint tapping noise came from the top step. Tap, tap, tap. Marcus whispered, "Is that footsteps?" Emily shook her head. "No, it's fingers." She was right. A hand slowly curled over the edge of the top stair, pale fingers stretching downward like they were testing gravity, bending in directions they shouldn't. Marcus froze. Emily's pulse exploded. The hand gripped the stair, then pulled something forward. A head. A girl's head. But wrong. Stretched. Tilted. As if someone tried to remember what a human form was supposed to look like and nearly got it right. The mouth opened. The voice that came out was not hers. "You left the door open." Emily and Marcus stumbled backward, just as someone grabbed their shoulders from behind. They spun around. It was Tyler. "What are you doing?" he hissed. "The door. The real door. Outside. It's back." They ran out of the Hamilton house. And there it was, in the center of the street. Again, just standing there, like an invitation. The white door. But this time something was written on it. Bold, carved deep into the wood, fresh and splintered. "One of you tonight." The neighbors backed away. Some cried. Some begged. Some collapsed. Marcus touched the door. Not to open it, just to test if it was solid. But the moment his fingers grazed the wood, he was thrown backward as if struck by lightning. He hit the pavement hard. Emily screamed. She ran to him, lifting his head off the ground. His eyes were open wide. His pupils were gone. Just white. Emily shook him. "Marcus! Marcus!" He gasped, and every streetlight flickered on at once. The whole neighborhood watched in frozen terror as Marcus whispered, voice hollow and distant, "It chose." His jaw trembled violently. Then he said one more sentence. "It chose you, Emily." The lights burst. Glass rained down. The sky went black. 3:17 a.m. came early. Marcus lay on the pavement, eyes rolled white, chest rising in short, frantic bursts. Emily knelt beside him, gripping his shoulders, shaking him, but his gaze wasn't on her. It wasn't on anything in the world around them. He was looking at something behind his own eyes. The neighbors circled at a distance, afraid to get near him, afraid to get near Emily, because of what he had said. It chose you. Emily stood slowly, backing away from Marcus until her spine hit the trunk of a parked car. Her breath came in uneven gasps. The street felt wrong, like the air had thickened to syrup, like each breath took effort. The door remained in the center of the cul-de-sac. White, still, waiting, but now its frame was pulsing, slow, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. Thud, 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 as if something behind it was syncing itself with her pulse. Tyler ran to her side. Emily, don't let it near you. Don't think about it. Don't. He froze, because the door slowly turned, pivoting, rotating, facing Emily directly. No wind, no force, just deliberate movement. It stopped once the doorknob pointed straight at her. Then, the knocking began again, but only she heard it. 3 sharp raps inside her skull. Emily clutched her head. Stop, stop, stop. The streetlights flickered back to life, not with light, but with shadows twisting in the glass. Mrs. Langford fell to her knees, weeping. It's taking her. Oh God! It's taking her. Marcus suddenly gasped and sat upright, eyes still white, body jerking like he was being yanked by invisible strings. His jaw cracked open unnaturally wide, and he spoke with the voice from the dream. You opened the crack. You let me see you first. Emily staggered backward. I didn't. You did, the voice said through Marcus. The night you dreamed of the white room, you stepped closer, closer than anyone else. You looked at the door. That was your invitation. Tyler grabbed her arm. Run! But Emily couldn't move. Her muscles locked again, just like in the second night. Her chest seized. Her ears filled with sharp ringing. The world blurred. She blinked. Once, and the cul-de-sac vanished. She was standing in the white room. Empty. Silent. Smooth walls. No corners. No ceiling she could see. Just the door. The same white door, tall and old, standing at an angle like it didn't understand gravity. The floor beneath it rippled like liquid glass. Emily whispered, No, I'm not asleep. I'm not. The room whispered back, every wall vibrating with a low, multi-voiced hum. You do not sleep. You enter. Emily turned in every direction, but the room seemed endless, expanding when she tried to focus on an edge, shrinking when she looked away. Space bent. Depth shifted. Why me? She whispered. Why choose me? The voices harmonized. You looked first. You heard first. You feared first. Fear is an open door. The white door creaked. A slit formed down the middle. Blackness leaked through. Something moved inside it. Tall. Thin. Learning how to be shaped. Emily backed up until her spine hit nothing. The room simply gave way behind her. She almost fell. Let me wake up, she whispered. Let me go. The voices hissed. Wakefulness is yours, but the door is ours. A pale hand emerged through the crack, human-shaped but wrong at every angle, fingers bending like broken branches reassembling themselves. Then a second hand. Then shoulders. A long, faceless head. As the figure pushed forward, its form rippled like it was made of shadows stretched over bone. Emily squeezed her eyes shut, and someone grabbed her wrist. Hard. Emily! A voice shouted. Her eyes flew open. She was back in the cul-de-sac. Tyler was pulling her backward, dragging her across the street. The door was inches from her face. Open just a crack, blackness swirling inside like smoke underwater. We have to close it, Tyler shouted. You can't close it. The voice inside the door poured into the air like cold fog. She opened it once. Only she can close it. Marcus stumbled forward, still white-eyed, still possessed. He pointed at Emily. You broke the seal. You created the path. Emily stared at the door. Her heart pounded. The knocking grew louder, inside her skull, inside the street, inside the air. Thud, thud, thud. She took one step toward it. Tyler screamed, Emily, but she whispered, I have to. The blackness inside the door reacted, curling upward like a living thing sensing its prey. Emily reached out. Her fingers touched the edge of the door. The world imploded. The sky turned white. The pavement liquefied. The neighborhood stretched and folded like paper. Voices roared in her mind. Tens, hundreds, thousands, all saying the same thing. Close it. She pushed. The door fought back. Something on the other side pushed harder, trying to force its way through her. Her arms shook violently. Her bones felt like they would snap. She screamed, "Let go!" The voice roared inside her head. "Let me through." Emily shoved with everything left in her body. The door slammed shut. A blast of air exploded outward. Streetlights shattered. Windows cracked. Everyone hit the ground. Then, silence. Real silence. Emily collapsed. The white door dissolved into dust, scattering like ash in the wind. Marcus blinked, his pupils returning. He gasped, confused, alive. People cried, clung to each other. Tyler crawled to Emily's side. "Emily, did you close it?" She nodded weakly. "I think so." He helped her sit up. For the first time in days, the air felt normal. Warm. Still. Sun beginning to rise. Neighbors slowly returned to their homes, exhausted but relieved. Emergency crews arrived hours later. Doctors examined everyone. No one mentioned the dream. No one could explain the fog. No one could describe the door. And for the rest of the day, Emily sat on her porch with a blanket around her shoulders, watching kids ride bikes again, watching people fix their shattered lights, mow their lawns, pretend the world was the same. By evening, the street felt almost safe. Almost. After midnight, Emily finally nodded off for the first time, exhaustion dragging her into sleep. The darkness welcomed her gently, peacefully, until a faint sound tapped inside the dream. Once, twice, 3 times. Her eyes snapped open. She turned her head slowly. Across the room in the corner, impossible, wrong, familiar, stood a white door, just a crack open. Someone whispered through it, "I found you." The clock on her nightstand flashed. 3:17 a.m.